Yeah, Ohio was very disappointing. Thought they played really well. They have the last 2 weeks. Give credit to them. Super disappointing for us. It's a game that we really wanted to play well and win. So we talked about that yesterday as a group, and now we're pressing on to another huge game against Western Michigan. And like you said, our final home game of the season. Those seniors, have had 2 senior years or a year and a half, and so they've really been the leadership, of this program for an inordinate amount of time. Very close with that group. Guys have put so much into this program through the years, and so haven't really gotten to the stage of thinking about it all that much yet, and would probably like to not do that quite yet, but we'll sure miss that group when the time comes.
A lot of football still to play, thankfully,
Yep.
with that. Guys, we'll open it up to questions from you.
Jeff?
Hey, go ahead, Bruce.
Hey, Coach, obviously you said, and I've heard you say this before, that sometimes with young men, it's harder to get them to prepare, focus as much after a big win as it is after a big win. Difficult. Did you sense it at all, Coach, going into this game that maybe the word is ready, that you had to get them up, that Toledo is not the be-all and end-all?
We talked about it as a staff. We talked about it as a program in terms of, our next step, our next challenge is to play really, really well after success. And we haven't been able to do that, certainly not consistently. So we did address that. We challenged the team with that. So, yeah, I don't know what it was. There was not, in my opinion, just this natural buzz of energy as though we were, playing in a championship. We certainly didn't have that. Now, were we dead and, not engaged and asleep or anything like that? Not at all. But would have liked for it to have been a little bit more than it was.
Go ahead, Chef.
Coach, what's been the biggest challenge for you the last couple of weeks defensively?
Yeah, I think stopping the run this last week. Well, and I can tell you this, we've missed a lot of tackles in the last 2 weeks. Prior to that, our average, I think Coach told me, had been 7 to 9 a game, and the last 2 weeks it's been 16 and 18 missed tackles. And obviously that's not winning football. When guys are in the right place and are unable, to finish the play, it's not winning football. So I think, getting the ball run on us, and then you got to figure out why and find out why. And one of the first things you look at is the missed tackles. And so I think in the last 2 weeks, that's been one of our problems.
Coach, talk about the difference. One player obviously has a big breaking feed. That makes this Tanner Canoe return. Was my observation is that your passing game, it looked like it's even obviously more effective, but you're even more versatile. Is your play calling with it with another go-to guy? Am I reading too much into something, or it just looks different?
Well, we were very comfortable with, how we were attacking, prior to Tanner. Tanner got injured literally on the second day of camp, and he's one of our best receivers. He is a very, very good football player, and there's the talent side of it, but there's also, with Dylan, Haas, and Tanner, I mean, those guys are dreams to coach and to be around. Just how coachable they are, their determination, the selflessness, the effort and the attitude that they give. And I'm not just doing coach speak. I mean, I'm telling you, those three guys in particular, all at the same position group. And, so when you have potentially three of those guys out there together, it's a little bit more difficult to defend. Haas could, or our slot who, could attract some attention. There's ways to double or to disguise, but I think the more weapons that you have out there, I think the more difficult it is for folks to do that. So we feel, our young group of receivers and our guys who've transferred in, we're super excited about. And those guys are going to get really, really good. Just the experience that those three guys have, is really tough to beat. And so having them all out there, or the ability to have those three playing for two spots, has been really good.
Coach, what's the challenge going to be against Western Michigan? The biggest challenge, do you think?
Well, their offense. It starts with their offense. They're really good in all three phases. But if it's not the best quarterback, it's tied for first of who we'll see all season. And their RPO game, they run the football. They've got two backs that run the ball very effectively. It's more of a zone game, inside and outside zone. Their offensive line, our defensive staff thinks is the best that will play in the MAC this year. And that's been pretty consistent with them. They're just really good, so that makes everything go. And then as a group, the wide receiver core, the way that they play is as good as any that will play in the MAC. So, there's other groups that, might be taller or might have overall speed more at the position group. But in terms of just best group of receivers, our defensive staff thinks that Western Michigan has that. So, they're tough to stop. They score lots of points. They've got a really good system. They're very confident. Defensively, they through the years, and they've made some adjustments, but they try to create chaos. There's a lot of movement, and we have them right now at moving on first and second down, even at 82% of the time. Whether that's pressure or just movement, but they're not going to just stand still and let you go to work. They're very comfortable in their quarters coverage and the variations off of that, and get into some two trap, and then they play man. So they also, again, they're not, they're disruptive. Going to try to get you off schedule, and tackles for a loss and penetrate and sacks and whatnot. So I think they're very aggressive and want to create chaos defensively to get you off schedule. I think just because I think offensively they think that they can outscore you. And so they want that ball back and, let their offense go to work. So it'll be a huge challenge. They're very good.
Coach, any word on, I don't know if any of the details on Kempton, is this a long-term issue, Kempton Shine? Is it something that could bounce back yet?
Yeah.
I have really no idea what's going on.
Right. No, I appreciate you asking. And I'll just say this. Coach Candle mentioned something in his press conference and came over, onto the field, which is just totally first class. We've had the media that did the game, had one of the guys had this game as well and asked. And so anybody who's asked, we really appreciate that. The good news is that he's doing much better. This is not a long-term major injury. So it's really, really good news. And so he's still, getting back to healthy and whatnot, but really thankful that it's not as bad as it could have been.
Yeah, because I really was playing well. It seemed like he was really playing with more and more confidence.
No question.
With his absence, there was definitely a drop off. That's why you have ones and you have twos. much, yeah.
Hey, Coach, I know you weren't surprised, but I think Rubes and I think I can speak for him, we were a little surprised at how good Ohio's offensive line was. The ability to rotate guys on your defensive line, how vital has that been for you, and how important will that be against Western?
Yeah, we have good depth, on our defensive line, and we have guys who are banged up, especially this time of the season, but we still do have the ability to rotate guys through, and that's absolutely critical. We have different packages of people, and you need it. So, yeah, we're not surprised at all by Ohio. People look at records and they think, good and bad, and that's just not, especially in our league. I think that's a fallible way to try to rank people. Ohio is a good football team, and they're definitely hitting a stride right now. Beating Miami, and I thought they played really well versus us. So, but yeah, our defensive line, we do have multiple packages and multiple people that we play, and again, it's a 12-week season, but it's a lot longer than that. And those guys are just in the trenches battling, every day at practice and all season long. And so guys get, nicked up and whatnot. And we've been fortunate that we've got a pretty deep group there.
Anything else for Coach before we get to our student athlete?
I'm good, thanks.
What do we have?
We got Terry Myrick today, Rubes.
Okay.
All right, Coach.
32.
I always like to leave you on the question before we bring up the student athlete, but Terry kind of helped start that connection to Georgia. You've become a recruiting pipeline to the Peach State, and he is a guy that is a leader, both on and off the field, and one of your best tacklers. What has Terry meant for you in this program?
Yeah, so you're right. Terry was one of the first that we got out of the state of Georgia, and that state's been awesome to us. And a lot of that is because, he's been able to help us, recruit all of the guys on our team. And we want guys who come to visit, our football program and this school to meet and be around guys like Terry Myrick. There's no question. I think, good people attract good people, and, same thing with, good players. You just have a sense that you're going to attract good talent that way. And it seems like a long time ago in some ways it did the home visit there. And I remember it was like, wow, I'm having another Thanksgiving meal. It was like I've had a lot of, home visit dinners, and a lot of them have been really good. But that one takes the cake. And just great people, great family. And, Terry has had a very productive career. Super proud of him, and he's one of those guys who will be, introducing the most influential man in his life to the team in the locker room before the game, and, playing for the last time on the gray turf in the factory. And that'll be a sad moment when I choose to start thinking about that. So we'll miss him, but he's a great man. You guys will enjoy hearing from him now. He's got those sleeves rolled up and as tight as they can get, and that schmedium. Here we go.
Terry, you just heard Coach talk about your journey here, and is it kind of a surreal moment to think all the hard work is down to this final game here at the factory? Still more games to play, though.
Well, honestly, I've been trying not to think about it that much, but it's kind of surreal now that he just, brought that to my attention as we're stepping into this game week. I've just been trying to enjoy every single last moment of this journey, but playing on a great turf for the last time, that will be very special for me, and I intend on making it a great performance for our team.
Guys,
Go ahead. Terry, is your time here at Eastern Michigan met your expectations personally, football-wise, school-wise, and coaching staff-wise?
My time here in Ypsi has exceeded my expectations. I came in very green. I didn't really know much. Honestly, I'll tell you guys the truth. I didn't even know what a red shirt was. I just I'm so serious. I did not know. I just wanted to play football. I love football. It's my life and then some. So I just wanted to enjoy the things that I do and love most. And here in Ipsy, I've exceeded my expectations.
Hey, Terry, I know the journey's not over, but you and your class have a chance to do something nobody else has done by going to as many bowl games as you have and getting to a possible 7 wins. I know you're not going to look back just yet, but how important is that to you to establish that type of new tradition at Eastern and be able to say you were a leader and part of it?
It's extremely important because it's bigger than just my class. I want to strengthen the future of Eastern, and I want to leave a legacy here. So it's so much bigger than just my class and the people that are here right now. I want this program to be strong and respected in the future years to come. So winning and setting history, making marks, that's just the first step to this, because it's going to be a lot longer experience with success here at Eastern.
Terry, looking back at your career here, and I don't want to get all wishy, what's one of the highlights? What's something that you're going to take maybe 5-10 years when you're raising your family and you talk about your time at Eastern? What is something that you're truly going to remember forever?
I would say, just the joy in the locker room after winning the ball game, because we put so much time and effort into it. The staff is here right now. Today is an off day for the players, but the staff is here right now. So seeing our coaches, as joyous as we'll ever see them, outside of when we commit or something on signing day, it's just such a relief seeing everybody so happy and joyous after a W. So that's something that I'll definitely cherish forever, because I'm not guaranteed those moments again in life.
Hey, Terry, knowing the pride that you and your defensive teammates have, what's been the biggest challenge the last couple of weeks against Toledo and then against Ohio, when Ohio was able to do some things that I think most people didn't expect to be able to do against you guys?
Yeah, I'll touch bases on what coaches said. Tackling, that's the most important thing. That's something that we've struggled with as we've gotten later in the season. I think that we're a little bit banged up as a unit, so we're going to approach this week a little bit differently from a practice aspect, and we're going to improve tackling. Hustling and running to the ball and tackling and finishing. We got to finish better once we get those opportunities, because we can't continue to get into second and short situations. We want to get into second and long situations so we can be able to dictate what the offense is doing.
Anybody who's been part of Eastern Michigan football knows the rivalries with Western and Central as you approach the next 2 weeks. What has it meant to you as a football player at Eastern when you battle the in-state rivals?
It's always a big game, and I honestly feel like the rivalry amongst Eastern and this MAC and Michigan bowl is really not valued as much as it should be, because we're in Michigan and we're in the glove just like everybody else that wears their colors. So these games are huge in my opinion. Like, we gotta win these games. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I don't want to win one more for a bowl guarantee. I want to win both games.
When you looked at, I don't know how much if you started looking at Western Michigan yet. I've seen a few times on television. Obviously, elevated quarterback, and he's a really top-notch player. They're good offensively all around. They're kind of premiered as one of the best offensive lines in the MAC. How do you take that challenge on as an inside linebacker, the key to that front seven?
So they are a very balanced team, and in my opinion, obviously I would give them the most respect up front. They have a very dominant offensive line, a lot of experience there with the COVID year. They had some guys that have been playing for a long time. Throughout my tenure here at Eastern, I've seen those same faces and numbers on that line. They just sent someone out to the league last year, and I know that they're going to have a good plan for me and my ability and my teammates as well. Like, the game plan that starts in the trenches. They're a very balanced team, and we intend on making them one-dimensional. And I will tell you that it starts in the trenches. We got to stop the run. When we stop the run, we'll be able to make them one-dimensional and get after the passer with our great defensive ends.